Hi everyone, Ian here. Just wanted to pop in real quick before the actual episode started and apologize for the sound quality of this episode. We were recording via Discord again with our guest, and I made a mistake and didn't have our mic set up in a way that would catch my voice very well. So I kind of sound echoey and distant. The rest of the episode sounds pretty good. However, I'm a little funny sounding in this episode, so I apologize for that, and thank you for sticking with it. And I will see you in the episode with my ear eyes. Bye.
Ohio.
Yeah.
I would love to at a brewery.
Gods, yeah.
Yeah.
No, working at a brewery is a ton of fun most of the time, and then there are times where it's not.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So.
I would imagine so, yeah.
During my interview process for this brewery, the head brewer goes, I decided to, invite. He was the guy who did my interview. He goes, yeah, I was excited when I saw your stuff because I listened to your podcast, and I was like, oh shit, okay.
Oh,
all right.
That would be like us applying to work at like the X-Files.
Yeah.
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 And Mulder's like, I listened to your podcast. It's like, oh no,
no.
Actually, no. I would expect Mulder's probably really into podcasts. It'd be if Scully was like, hey, I listened to your podcast. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. If podcasts were a thing back in the 90s, Mulder would be heavily into them.
He wouldn't even be working at the FBI. He'd just be a podcaster.
He would just be a podcaster.
That's what they should do with the new seasons.
Yeah, they should reboot X-Files.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
And welcome to another episode of Our Haunted Backyard.
Yeah.
What's the show about, Eric?
This show is it's a podcast where we talk about country road cryptids. We can do it. Small town spooky and other local legends.
Yeah.
I did it. I didn't even have to look at a business card.
And you might have noticed there's another voice here today. Today we have Lucas from the Pint Pals podcast.
Hi, Lucas.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. I've been looking forward to being on this show all week.
Yeah,
Same.
It's a good intersection of two of my favorite things, which are beer and spooky shit. So this is a very exciting time in my life.
As soon as Lucas and I met through the Ohio Renaissance Festival. He's a new one cast this year, and as soon as both of us mentioned that we had a podcast, it was like we got to do this thing.
It's like the videos, the meme videos of the Take on Me dance that they do at the conventions.
Yep.
You just podcast or podcast. So tell us about your podcast.
Yeah. So my name is Lucas. I'm one of the hosts of the Pint Pals podcast. It's me and my buddy Nate, and we decided to do a craft beer podcast because craft beer is a big passion of mine. It's all I do. I do it on TikTok. I do the podcast. I even work in a brewery. And Nate was kind of brand new to craft beer, so we decided to do a podcast where I introduce him to new beers that he hasn't had before, and it's kind of just like a podcast meant for people who would like to get into the craft beer world. And it's not like I'm a cicerone by any means or anything like that, but I like to think I know more than the average person. Not to break my arm, patting myself on the back or anything like that, but it's a podcast for craft beer beginners, essentially. And we've had a lot of amazing guests on from all across the country, people who work in breweries and stuff like that. So if you're into craft beer, yeah, you can find us.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, no, I started beer the wrong way, which was starting with craft, which means that I could never drink. Like, I tried PBR for the longest time, couldn't do it.
That's my fave.
Yeah, I did, like, so it's just, but it's kept me from being an alcoholic because it's too expensive. So
yes, yeah. When I told my parents that I decided that this is what I want to do with my career is work in a brewery and stuff like that, my dad is like, oh, is there anything else you want to do? And I'm like, Dad, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna become an alcoholic.
Oh man, I can't wait to tell my parents that I followed my passion for monsters. Uh,
Before we even begin
Yeah, before
show
we-
proper, we're doing our classic accidental bit of the beers in our backyard.
yeah, this accidental thing
Where-
that we started.
We try a different beer every episode, and we've got the
Hitachino Nest Beer. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
red rice ale. Oh, you've heard of it?
Yeah, I used to work at a craft beer and wine shop for about 2.5 years. So
Ah.
I sold a craft beer from all across the country and from around the world.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Japanese red rice ale.
Nice.
I've had one. I think I had their white ale.
I've never had a red rice ale. I've never had a rice ale.
Yeah.
Period. Oh, smells like, you know what? It's weird. It smells a little. I get that little bit of rice when I smell it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's a little on the sour side.
Yeah, it's very sour. Oh, that's different, but I don't hate that.
Yeah, like it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
It is. It's like nice and light, a little on the sour side.
But not bad,
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
Very, yeah. Have you had any rice like beers like this, Lucas?
I've definitely had some of the other beers from that brewery, and I've also had some other rice beers, and I think we're actually going to be making a rice beer at the brewery I work at. I brought it to my head brewer. I came up with somewhat of a recipe, and it's going to be a horchata beer for the Christmas season.
Oh,
That
that sounds
And
nice.
it's traditionally a rice-based, like I believe it's Latin American Christmas drink, essentially, like their version of eggnog,
Okay.
but rice and good.
Yeah. It sounds
Yeah.
delicious.
I felt so bad the first time you brought me one of your at camp. You brought like one of your like recipe cans out at camp. You're like, here, try this. It was like that water. Wasn't it like a watermelon?
The watermelon. Yeah, the watermelon goza.
I felt so bad because I'm like, man, I because I had just met you. We had like just really connected like the week before, and I'm just like, oh man, you're a cool guy, but I do not like this.
I am bringing up some cans of our Oktoberfest for you because I heard you guys talking about Oktoberfest last week. So I'm going to give I'm going to give yours to Eric. So to give to you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
It is my absolute favorite style. If you don't count my my connoisseur of cheapness.
I'm drinking a West Coast style Pilsner with Mosaic hops from
Ooh, that sounds actually very good.
Highland Park Brewery out of LA.
Mm.
So what distinguishes West Coast Pilsner from like East Coast?
I think that's just a marketing term they put on. I think the reason that they called it a West Coast is because they're using like this Pilsner is definitely more hoppy than any other Pilsner that I've really had. Pilsners tend to be like more crispy boys. And I think the whole West Coast thing was just to make it a little bit more hoppy, piney, like that you get in many West Coast style IPAs.
Okay, so it's not like trying to like make a career as a screenwriter.
No.
Oh.
So, Lucas, when we started discussing having you come on, and I started thinking about topics, I said, what better topic than to kind of combine the two interests of our shows, alcohol and spooky shit. And so I'm going to tell you some stories about the surprising number of haunted breweries in Ohio.
I feel like every time we tackle like a subject in Ohio, it's always like a surprising amount of haunted number.
Yeah, you
Like-
never expect this much weird stuff to be in Ohio, but here we are.
Though, if I may ask before, what is your like experience, Lucas, with the paranormal? Like, have you ever had any experiences? Like, what like level are you coming in as like a skeptic, believer? Like, what is your, as far as like the world of paranormal, where are you coming at with this?
So to be honest, I'm kind of a skeptic when it comes to it all. I haven't had any experiences. It's not that I'm like open to it, but if it happens, I'll be like, yep, you know what? I was wrong.
Yeah, but I think that's always that's kind of like the way I tried to handle it for a while. Was like, yeah, who knows? Let's see. But I just had like one too many weird things happen to me that I tried to find every other explanation. it was mostly just like, this was just weird shit,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess I'm gonna let the weird shit happen now.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a very healthy, like, skeptic type attitude to have instead of coming into like a space, whether it be like a paranormal podcast or like it's just even a reportedly haunted area, instead of like going in there with like I don't believe in this at all, everything is bullshit, and I'm gonna continue to say it's bullshit.
But okay, so we're gonna do a little tour of the haunted breweries in
Okay.
Ohio, and I tried to get like a smattering from across the state.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get any more information on the colonel that pees on people's boots from elevator?
Colonel may be making an appearance.
Yes.
I was gonna save him for a little later.
Oh, okay. My bad.
No, it's fun. No, I'm just glad that the piss colonel has a reputation.
I mean, with the title like Piss Colonel.
Yeah.
So the first one on my list is one where I'm honestly not 100% sure how up and running they are. I remember hearing about them when they were first like announced that they were going to be opening a brewery. But it's the Cartridge Brewing Company in Cincinnati.
I've never heard of this place.
Yeah, it's actually like right next to Kings Island.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
But they are in what was originally the Peters Cartridge Company, which was founded back in the late 1800s as a munitions factory. Basically, they worked with gunpowder, making bullets, casings, that kind of thing.
Well.
Eventually was sold to Remington in 1934. And over the years, surprisingly enough, there were explosions.
Whoa. So I'm shocked. This is my shock face.
And supposedly about 20.
Explosion.
Which sounds like a lot. I'm not a gun maker.
Before the times of OSHA.
Yeah. It's like what was like that building last week that school that had 15 fires. It's like one fire is too many fires. One explosion is too many explosions.
So most of these explosions destroyed most of the original complex, but it was rebuilt. Production went on, and over like the next half century, 10 other explosions rocked the area, killing 21 people and injuring dozen more.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of these explosions in 1942 was so massive, like the shockwave shattered buildings as far as like northern Kentucky. So we're talking like 30 miles away. So this was part of the same complex. We got the Peters Cartridge Company, and one of the compounds was the King Powder Site, which was then purchased and turned into Kings Island.
So, okay. So there was gunpowder. Oh, like that, like where Kings Island is right now.
Yeah, there was like, it was on one of the places that like blew up so bad you couldn't, they're like, oh, we're just done.
Oh, wow. That's unsettling.
So this, of course, leads into stories of, you hear voices, people running on the roofs. Mm-hmm. One story that I found from Andy Henderson of Forgotten Ohio, which I remember reading when I was younger, but is no longer around. It's a fantastic blog. But he said, one story I was told by a contributor involved hearing the distinct sound of footsteps running across the roof of the main building. They followed them to the stairwell at one end, only to find no one there, but the cable of the elevator were swinging as if someone or something had just slid down.
Oh, creepy. Elevator shafts, though, like with no elevators, are very scary. Like,
I mean, it's a big, tall place.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like after like that one MythBusters episode, where they tested like if you could survive falling in an elevator. I don't know. Elevators scare me sometimes.
I was listening to, I think it was the Rooster Teeth podcast, and the guy said that he used to work on elevators, and the real fear shouldn't be an elevator falling, because the brakes work 100% of the time, and you'll be safe. The real fear that you need to worry about is being shot out of the top of the building if the counterweight cable's snapped.
Oh,
so like a Willy Wonka situation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god. So a glass elevator Willy Wonka situation. Ugh, I hate that even more now.
The main question I kind of have is, admittedly we're not in the brewery anymore, but we're talking about Kings Island, is do the ghosts ride like the beast?
Yeah. Then you have to be dead to enjoy the beast, because it's a rough ride. I did hear reports of Kings Island being haunted. I mean, there is a graveyard literally right next to Kings Island.
Oh yeah, when there's always those stories about like they sit like somebody gets their head knocked off during one of the rides.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one died in the vortex.
I kind of actually wanted to, like, I don't know if anybody's actually died at Kings Island since it's been Kings Island.
Oh, that's worth looking up.
Yeah.
I know no one's died officially on Disney property.
Yeah, they carry him off.
They carry them off and they pronounce them dead off-site.
The Peters Cartridge Building still stands there. It's home to the Cartridge Brewing Company. There's apparently opening some apartments in there as well.
Oh.
Which even outside of like the ghosts, the fact that it was a munitions factory means there's all kinds of tasty chemicals in the ground.
Yeah, a lot of those.
And I feel like I did see something about it actually being like a reclamation site where they're like, yeah, we've got like lead, copper, everything in here.
I feel like that's not somewhere where you should put any living.
That's not where you should have a brewery, because that's the water.
Yeah.
So,
where are they getting their water from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how much lead is too much lead in beer?
God, any amount.
Controversial stance to take, I think. However, you're the brewologist, so
yeah. Hot take: no lead in beer.
Oh man, we're gonna get canceled for that.
You've heard it here. Big lead is coming for us.
Big lead's coming for us. Big lead's coming.
So next up, due to popular demand, and that demand largely being me, we are going to talk about the Elevator Brewing Company and the Piss Kernel.
Piss Kernel goes. Piss Kernel goes.
So the Elevator Brewing Company in Columbus, which I actually feel like I'm kind of surprised I've not had any of their beers yet.
You're fine.
I don't think I've had any of their beers.
You don't need it.
Not that great.
No,
not that great.
No, not great at all.
That answers my question. Maybe Piss Kernel.
Yeah,
it might be.
He's going around pissing in all the tanks.
He's cursed the beer.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably the worst kind of ghost to have in a brewery is a piss ghost.
They actually sold their original brewing facility because they are running out of money and they are basically hanging on by a pinky, honestly.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they sold their original place and they're in a new place now that's a lot smaller.
Oh.
Okay, so they're no longer in the old clock building.
I don't think so.
A Piss Kernel ghost is definitely not something I would want in any kind of like food or drink thing. It's also, he just sounds like the worst Scooby-Doo ghost. The Piss Kernel.
It sounds like the one like when they did the in Zombie Island and they talked about like all the fake ghosts that they started finding.
Yeah.
I feel like Piss Kernel would be like bottom. They're like we're done.
He's like F tier. He's like F tier ghost.
Yeah. So were you able to confirm if they've moved or not?
It says that the Elevator Brewery and Draft House is a craft microbrewery located in one of the most historic buildings, the Columbia Building, in downtown Columbus for the last 20 years. Okay, maybe they are in the same place. It's a Bott Brothers Billiards?
Yeah, that's what
okay, so that's okay.
Yeah. So maybe that might be that. Maybe that's where they're brewing now.
That
maybe they
could
didn't
be.
always brew there.
They could have brewed off-site. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Because
Yeah.
I knew they had financial troubles.
And it may be due to our friend, the Piss Kernel. So, as you just mentioned, the building was originally Bott Brothers Billiards, built in 1897 by the Bott family. And then later it was a club for a while known as the Clock, due to its clock being stopped at exactly 10:05. And that ties into the story of our dear Colonel.
Oh.
So the story is that there was a Colonel, Colonel Randolph Pritchard, and he apparently was a womanizer of some renown. And on a cold February night in 1909, the infamous womanizer Colonel Randolph Pritchard was at the Bott Brothers Billiards Hall, and he was called into the street. I don't know exactly what the hey, come out here, Mr. Piss,
Mr. Colonel.
But apparently, when he walked outside, he was stabbed by a woman that some people suspect was one of the ones that he abused.
I mean, honestly, go her.
Yeah, he comes out, she stabs him, she's like, piss!
He just bleeds piss.
It just piss comes out of his heart.
Oh my god.
He's a piss demon.
He's a piss demon.
And the Colonel stumbles back into the saloon and collapses on the floor and bled to death, and I presume, pissed.
Probably avoided his bowels.
At the exact moment of Pritchard's death, the large clock in front of the saloon stopped, marking 10:05. The only trace of his killer was fresh footprints in the winter snow. For a long time, they just kept the clock up there.
Yeah.
Never bothered replacing it, and that's why, like, when it was a club, it was called the Clock.
Ah.
Ghost of the Colonel is said to roam the restaurant, but is only spotted on rare occasions. Pritchard's killer, who was believed to have froze to death the night she killed him, is also said to make her presence known. Mysterious footprints appearing in the fresh snow where no one's walked yet.
How did she die?
I think she just wanders off.
And gets frozen to death?
And then everyone's like, yeah, she froze to death. And I'm like,
In downtown Columbus?
1909 in February.
I mean,
So,
maybe.
yeah, like I would have to see like the weather.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it happening, though that is also so weird. It'd be weird, like, I'm gonna stab the piss man and then die.
And then
And then die.
My last act. Yeah, that one was a little weird, because, yeah, it's different accounts have her, like, wandering off to die. Different accounts have her, like, getting arrested.
Like, I mean, he could have also wounded her in their scuffle, I'm guessing, that they had. I mean, he was a colonel.
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't just be like, oh, I've been stabbed. And then just like, well, that's it. That's it for me.
Now, I will say, much to my disappointment, I'm having trouble finding the piss story. However, from a post from Maddie, who was the person who turned us on to the piss colonel,
Yeah.
said that he was just generally an abusive person, and he would stand in the bar and relieve himself as he drank, inevitably pissing on people's boots and doing so. So he's not a piss ghost. Not just I'm assuming he still pisses in Ghost World.
Yeah. Ectoplasm.
But he would like get up on the bar while they're drinking and just be like, "Guess what? Piss."
God, could you? I would almost. I would just leave.
I want to believe that he would also like try to come up with a military reason for doing what he's doing, and it's every time.
Yeah.
It is maybe a bit of a fetish.
I would
and
imagine
B,
so.
just he's an asshole.
Yeah.
So he's like, this is intimidating.
This is for everybody who supports the troops.
I can't make it to the bathroom. That's what we used to do at the military camps. I've never been on the military ever, and I will never be.
Does your brewery have a tap room, or is it just brewery?
It's a tap room as well. And then
Okay, have you ever had anybody come and piss on people's seats?
No, we haven't.
Do you need someone?
No. I'd appreciate if you if everybody out there wouldn't do that.
So I'm also hearing that you don't want me to try like trap Pritchard in like a ghost vessel and bring him over.
No, that's not necessary. No need to get the
Do you remember when the Ghost Adventures crew tried to do something like that? They tried to have a ghost trap.
I thought you were going to talk about like pissing on people's feet.
No. I swear to God, there was a Halloween special where like the Zach Baggins and his boys, they went into like a haunted prison and they supposedly had a fucking ghost trap like that some dude built, and they were like, I'm talking like Ghostbuster style ghost trap. Like they were going to trap this ghost.
Well, you got to do it with a doll.
Like
You got to get on. You get a doll. You get it haunted. You sell it on eBay.
I swear it was like some big plastic box with lights in it.
a tote box with an LED strip in it.
It did have a light in it. I remember a light in there.
The box isn't actually open. It is just like a piece of wood. They painted black, put an LED on there.
And then they just said it was a box with a stick propping it up, and it had ghost bait.
I want to know now, if we banish the ghost of Pritchard, will it save Elevator Brewing?
Will it save the company?
Like, is it, or if anything else, this is a movie I want to write.
Oh my God, that's the new Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, it's like a down and out brewery. They can't get their beer to sell because a ghost keeps pissing in it.
That's the new Ghostbusters
They hired
movie.
the new Ghostbusters.
I just imagine like this guy, he was a colonel, so he probably went to West Point, and he's like, I'm a military man, this is my career, and because you pee on one person's boots when you get drunk at a bar, you'll forever be known as the piss colonel.
Yeah, you can't shake that title.
Maybe it just happened one time, and maybe like he had like bladder stones or something. Like
Maybe he had
hold it in.
Maybe it's a sad. Maybe it's an actual sad story where he couldn't control his bowels, and we're. But you do it one time, you're piss colonel.
Yeah.
It's like the new She-Hulk show. Like someone just like pointed and goes She-Hulk, and now it sticks. That's not a spoiler.
Well, I was about to say it's like the time I put electric tape on my nipples, and that's all I can remember from one night that I ever got really, really drunk. I made mistakes.
It's okay.
Uh,
You should see some of the conventions I go to. I make a lot of mistakes there.
You
So,
should see the beer festivals I go to.
I would like to go to a beer festival.
me too. I listened to your episode about Seltzerland, and
Oh yeah.
I'm not even that big into seltzers, but I'm like, that still sounds like a good time.
Hey, neither am I.
I'm not that big into seltzers either. Like I'm not gonna. I have not found a White Claw that I like.
This was seltzers from all over the place. Like there was like even just like small like homemade stuff essentially. Like people that are like, yeah, this is what we want to do because like we have a gluten intolerance, but we still want to make alcohol type thing. So we make seltzers.
Yeah.
And like they did also like craft liquor based seltzers and stuff like that. It was really impressive because that's what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be like, oh, it's just going to be White Claw, Truly, Mike's Hard seltzers, Bud Light seltzers and stuff like that. But the majority of the stuff was stuff like I've never even heard of.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's
yeah,
cool.
We'll have to try and check that out.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I'll let you know. They gave us 4 free tickets for this year, and we only used 2 of them. So,
Son of a bitch. Son of a
The
bitch.
Spooky Boys go to Seltzerland.
Spooky Boys go to Seltzerland.
So the manager, Jeff Sester,
Yeah.
he's the one who he confirms some of the stories about the foot in the snows,
Mm-hmm.
moving bar stools, glasses sliding all over the place. So kind of your standard kind of ghost hauntings.
Standard stuff.
Convinced he still pisses people.
I'm also convinced.
I gotta go there next time I'm downtown and just like sit there.
I want to travel to like all of these locations now, but elevator especially. I'm like, I need to find the piss kernel.
Yeah.
That's my life. Well, he's my ghost nemesis and my ghost soulmate.
I want to go back to Sinclair so I can find Ghost Horse.
I want to find the ghost soulmate too. So another haunted brewery moving northwards is Mommy Bay Brewing in Toledo.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Which, have you had any of their stuff?
Yeah, I've had their stuff.
Better or worse than Piss Kernel?
I've had their breakfast stout, and that was probably their best beer that they make.
Like breakfast out.
I'm drinking right now a New Holland oatmeal.
Oh, the Poet?
Yeah, solid beer. I like New Holland a lot.
Yeah.
Because I went up to Holland over the summer, and we went to the brewery.
You were the one that gave me my you let me try like a breakfast stout. That's how I remember trying a breakfast stout for the first time.
That was probably the Samuel Smith.
Yeah, I remember you having me try it for the first time. I'm like, this is good.
This is from New Holland. This is a
series.
You think that? I saw this in a Meyer, and I was like, I've never heard of this. I need to get it. This is their seltzer line.
What?
Oh.
No way.
This is a 12-pack of bourbon barrel-aged seltzers.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet because I've been scared to try it.
They've got a lot of most of their stuff is beer, but they do the seltzer stuff. I also know they have some liquor.
I would try it.
Yes, they do liquor now.
I would try them. I would try the dragons
too. But anyway, so Mommy Bay Brewing Company. Originally, it was the Oliver House, built in 1859.
Mm-hmm.
It was used. Originally, it was a hotel.
Okay.
And was like a very fancy hotel for like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then better hotels came along and it became the worst hotel.
Ain't that just the way?
It was, for a period of time, a stopping point on the Underground Railroad.
Nice.
It also was briefly used as an infirmary during the Spanish-American War.
Ooh, that's a lot of haunting potential.
Yeah, I said like right there we got like
Both.
two things
we got
that
two
are
big haunting potentials
like
right
standard haunt and I do even think there was a story of an Indian burial ground. So they're just checking off all of the things that white people love to talk about when it comes to ghost hauntings.
Yeah. All we're missing is satanic rituals. Oh no!
I confirm or deny, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said anything.
I was gonna say that's like a drinking game now.
There are a handful of entities, and the first one is known as the Captain.
Okay, dope.
He's not a piss captain.
Yay!
But it's weird. There's some people who say that he is the original owner of the building.
Okay.
However, when they describe him, he's described basically as kind of a sea captain, which is also just weird because you're in Toledo.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, that's not too far away from like Lake Erie.
Yeah, it's right up there on Lake Erie, which I guess you can get away. You can get away with sea
It's a
captain on Lake Erie.
It's a body of water.
Yeah.
It's a big enough body of water.
I mean, like the whole Edmund Fitzgerald and stuff like that. Like, I mean, how many ships have sunk on Lake Erie alone?
That's true.
No, it's every time I look up like how many like things have like sunk into Lake Erie. I feel really freaked out that I swam in there a lot.
Yeah.
Even outside of the sea captain stuff, we do know who owned the building. It was Major William Oliver, so not even a captain.
No, it's just a major.
Well, higher than captain. Major is...
Is major higher than captain? I have no idea.
I believe that's the next rank after captain.
Yeah.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, because that's why Hawkeye never could make it to major. He was always a captain because he was not disciplined enough to make it to major.
That's right. Well, then oh man.
Most of my military knowledge comes from MASH.
Oh,
I
thought you were talking about Clint Barton.
That's exactly what I thought he was talking. I was like, I don't think that was brought up in any of the Avenger movies.
I'm like,
really deep cut.
I'm like, Hawkeye started out as a circus performer.
So the captain, a jovial spirit,
he's a nice
he's
ghost.
friendly.
He's a Casper.
Yeah, and he's a nice dude. Now a psychic who went to who actually had an office in the building, which very convenient. If you're going to be a psychic, just have a building that's already haunted.
Wow, you have your own live-in psychic.
Yeah,
that's dope.
And he said one day he saw the transparent, stocky entity of the captain in the hallway near the stairwell, which is now an elevator shaft. He seemed pleasantly surprised that the psychic could see him.
Oh, delightful.
Yeah, just like, oh, cool, you see me.
I'm just glad that after the two just poltergeist stuff, we finally got a full body apparition reports.
Yeah, and it's mostly it is just kind of him. He's been seen dressed in full uniform. He'll watch people play pool, which is really if that's what it goes, that's what I would do. I would just be watching people have a good time. Just I used to do fun things when I was alive.
I used to be able to hold those things, but now I can't because I'm corporeal.
Yeah, and there are supposedly some darker ghosts, but there weren't as many stories about them, so I didn't go too deep.
He's fighting all the dark ghosts.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what the psychic said. He's protective.
Nice.
So I do have a feeling he gets fisticuffs.
Yeah.
With them, which is honestly
ghost fight.
Best ghost.
Yeah.
I want to have a crossover King Kong versus Godzilla
versus ghosts.
But it's friend captain versus piss colonel. And see if piss colonel tries to pull rank.
Yeah.
And just I'm higher rank and I'll piss on you. And the captain's like, you don't outrank me on the sea. And just has spectral ocean.
Just, that's awesome.
Piss.
That's awesome. I was gonna say saltwater, but Lake Erie is freshwater.
But he's a ghost captain now. He can summon any kind
He can summon any. Oh my god,
wouldn't the extra water just help power the piss kernel?
But maybe that's the weakness. Is it's overflow. It's overfeed. You're just too much.
Oh yeah.
And his body just can't he can't contain that much power, and so it will cause a piss flood. Just the entire building filled up.
See, if whatever afterlife there is, as long as it's the Danny Phantom afterlife where we all get ghost superpowers when we become ghosts.
I want. I've got one last location, which is kind of cheating because it's not a brewery currently, but it used to be a tavern, and they brewed their own beer there.
Oh,
yeah. So it works, but it's very close. I've been there a lot, and it's got a lot of ghosts.
Yay!
And I'm talking about Ye Old Trail Tavern in Yellow Springs.
I'm sure I've been in there.
Oh yeah, it's right there on kind of the main strip, that Dayton Street.
Yeah.
Right near Toxic Records.
Okay, I've totally been in there then.
Yeah. Yeah, have you ever been?
No, I don't think I've ever been to Yellow Springs.
Oh,
it's a town.
Oh, Yellow Springs is awesome.
Good brewery.
Yeah, Yellow Springs is pretty great.
I highly recommend just going out there and visiting. When I worked for a year with the AmeriCorps, and I worked at a local high school that was right down the street from Yellow Springs.
Nice.
And so on Fridays, I'd have to leave the school basically at noon because we'd have afternoon meetings with the rest of the...
Yeah.
And so I would just leave and then go down to Yellow Springs, go to the tavern, have a burger and a lunch beer. It is actually the oldest, or part of the tavern is the oldest building in Yellow Springs.
Okay.
It's kind of the very back. You can still go back there and eat, and it's all hewn logs and stuff like that.
Cool.
It was built in 1827 by Elisha, which isn't a variant of Elijah.
Okay.
I think, because I also saw it as Elijah, but from the actual history of the building from the tavern's website, it is Elisha and his son William Mills. It was originally named Elisha's Tavern, and then later it was bought by a German immigrant named Franz Martin Hafner, and Hafner was anti-alcohol.
Oh,
didn't like spirits,
Boo.
didn't like beer, and like in his will he said, if you take this building, like whoever gets this building, don't make beer, don't make alcohol, don't sell it, don't sell it here. And that's why the owner of the tavern thinks that Hafner is actually one of the ghosts who's haunting the building.
Because his last wish was not fulfilled. Wow, what a downer.
Yeah, he's coming fucking straight edge ghost.
Oh, when did he buy it though?
He bought it. I don't have the exact year in front of me. He died in 1895, so I think he bought it in like the 1850s, 1860s.
So if he was a spirit and then Prohibition happened, he would have been like, "Oh, you know what? I can rest now." Why would he come back?
That's a good question.
Maybe he heard. He heard
Maybe
he heard. He's like, "Oh, these sons of bitches! I'm coming back."
I was having a good time.
Maybe it awakened him. Maybe when Prohibition ended, it awakened his spirit again. Like, oh,
we've got such a great ghost universe.
Yeah, yeah, we got a great ghost extended universe.
I just want to make all these.
Dude,
I want Piss Curdle versus Happy Captain and Prohibition Ghost, straight edge ghost.
Oh man,
it's CM Punk.
I was just about to say it's CM Punk Ghost.
So he's one of the entities said to be haunting the tavern. Owners also suspect that there's a golden-haired young woman who haunts the tavern's lower levels, and it may either be his niece or one of his two daughters.
Okay.
The niece apparently mysteriously disappears from census records, but not perhaps from this realm. Which is what the Springfield... That's a quote from Springfield News-Sun.
That's gold.
You know, the person who wrote that was like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna hit."
It is
totally
news articles about like ghosts and stuff like that. Always so good.
I love them.
Apparently, one of the bartenders who had worked there for 10 years had seen the blonde woman, and on multiple occasions. And one time, he thought that she was a customer and that she'd come behind the bar. And he
Ma'am,
when I was working at Starbucks, if somebody showed up behind the bar, I was not having it. This guy's just like, "We're closed."
Oh, yeah.
Like, much nicer than I would have been.
Yeah.
There's another ghost who has long black hair, wearing all black, who haunts the upper floor. She is seen crying.
I've played too many video games to want to even fuck with that.
Some claim she is the daughter of Hafner, who was tricked into marrying, or the daughter-in-law. I was like, I don't remember incest being a part of this.
Oh, who?
But yeah, it was a daughter-in-law of Hafner who was tricked into marrying one of the Hafner buddies.
Oh.
But yeah, so she's up in there being sad, while other one who disappeared mysteriously is once again a chill ghost.
Yeah.
Just there.
I mean, I feel bad for the crying girl ghost.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
I feel bad about getting tricked into marrying someone.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that's like, how does that happen? But do you like quickly swap someone out? Like, you think you're getting married to one guy, and you just
psych. It's like, it's the 1800s, psych. It's this guy.
And that the last story about the sad woman is actually from the official Greene County, Ohio government blog.
Oh.
So we got the government up in this ghost business.
Don't know if I like that or not.
But yeah, that is the Yellow Springs Tavern.
I have to go back.
It's really cool. I want to go back there.
I can pry myself away from Dark Star books.
But yeah, that's our little tour around some of the haunted breweries and former breweries of Ohio.
Wow.
So after all those stories, Lucas, are you pro or anti brewery ghost?
Like, do I want one at where I work? Not really. No.
No.
Unless it's the captain guy. Like, I feel like he'd be, chill, just hanging out in the back.
I was going to say, we'd have to guarantee a good ghost.
Yeah, we would need yeah.
I would have to do a meta study of all the ghost stories to see what the numbers are on getting a good ghost versus a bad ghost, and then inside of that, is bad ghost just knocking over chairs versus Piss Colonel, who is up there with worst ghosts.
Who's up there with pretty bad ghosts,
Vomit Ghost would be maybe worse.
Yeah. Ugh.
Throwing up in the wart and shit like that. Not a good time.
Not a good time. And then there's the just worse than that, which is just straight up evil spirits.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I wouldn't want, the anti-alcohol guy screaming behind me with a Keep Ohio Dry sign or something like that.
What if I could get you a German brewer from the 1800s who's very big on the purity laws, and it's just
Yes. Yeah.
It's
That
constantly
would be cool.
judging you for like putting things that aren't like hops. And quality.
Not using the 4 original ingredients.
It just
Yeah.
now I'm just thinking about like I'm getting really nerdy with it. I'm just thinking about it in terms of like Shaman King, the anime Shaman King, or the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where like there's a brewery stand. Do I need to explain stands?
I kind of know them.
Like they're basically like ghosts that you have that fight for you. They're like psychic ghosts that fight for you that have special powers.
Okay, yeah.
Like
I remember seeing some of the live action one. And
I forgot there was a live action JoJo.
I actually could probably, like, if you want a German brewer ghost, I could probably get you. I've got connections because I learned recently that some of my family were like the first people in Dayton to brew Pilsners and lagers.
Oh, okay.
So I'll see if I can get a hold of them. I can't remember their names.
Your ancestors.
But I'll get on Ancestry.com, see if I can get them like trapped in a PBR can and bring it up to you.
Oh man, that's the ultimate way to get a ghost in my house.
You could throw some slushy beers in there and, get them agitated, and then they come out and you trap them in the Pilsner jar.
That's how to do it.
Yeah, that's how to do it. That's how to do it. Oh man.
But anyways, Lucas, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, and what are your various pluggables?
Yeah.
So you can find us pretty much anywhere under Pint Pals or Pint Pals Podcast. I'm on TikTok. I do a lot of beer reviews on there. We are on, for the podcast itself, we are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Sounder FM. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us.
Yeah, give them a check. It's
Check them out.
very good.
Mm-hmm.
It was very fun. I can't wait to listen more of the back catalog.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I love learning about beer, so it's a good podcast for my brain.
Oh shit! I forgot to ask you. I saw you unbox those ska beers that I've been extremely jealous of. What were they good?
Well, I haven't had any of them yet. I'm just gonna review them on the TikTok channel.
Oh, I got you.
But this one is Ruby Soho, and that's the grapefruit lager, which is absolutely delicious.
And that is your favorite wrestler.
That is one of my favorite wrestlers right now. Also, I just listened to that song came on my Spotify as I was coming up here. That's what it reminded me. But yeah, if you like wrestling, check Ruby Soho out on AEW. Badass. She's badass.
There's so much going on.
I also have a huge crush on her.
Just check out AEW. They need love right now.
They need love right now, man. AEW needs so much love right now. They are. I love them so much.
Check out Lucas and the Pint Pals.
Yes.
And if you have any stories about haunted breweries, piss kernels, vomit majors, send us an email at hauntedbackyardcast@gmail.com. Follow us on all our various social medias. And until next time, stay spooky, stay nice.
Bye-bye.
Bye.